As the economy continues to rebound, there is a new struggle facing a lot of Americans. It's called lifestyle creep. Have you heard of that? Here to discuss what it is and share some practical tips to help you avoid it and save some money at the same time is financial expert and host of the Good Money podcast, Derrick Kinney. Derrick, the name of this, if people haven't heard of this, it sounds really awful. What exactly is lifestyle creep?
It's a funny name, but it definitely captures your attention, doesn't it? Basically, it's when your ability to spend money goes up with your income and you begin asking yourself, look, we're making more money. Why don't we spend more and enjoy the hard work that we're putting in to create this? It's often called lifestyle inflation, which typically means that as the price of goods go up, and in this case, as your income goes up, the tendency to want to spend also goes up as well.
And it seems like this is especially a concern right now because so many people missed out on so many things over the last year. They had to cancel so many things, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to invest in my quality of life now. And so it's becoming a bigger issue. Plus, maybe some people have some more money to rub together right now.
Well, that's so true. There's a lot of pent-up demand. And it's funny, we used to joke that people would go to Target or they go to the mall just to relax, just to feel normal again. Now they've not had to do that and they've got money in their pocket. So we're likely going to see more spending. My concern right now is, again, if you work hard, which most people do for their money, they're making more income and so forth, you can surely spend some on yourself. The key though is if you spend all of it, are you really better off? And that's what caused a lot of Americans to get themselves in trouble years ago, and it caused the credit card crisis, which we certainly don't want to repeat again.
So you're saying here, yeah, go ahead and spend some on yourself, but you also want to invest in yourself, like your future self. You're going to want some money there down the road, so try to put some of that aside. Let's talk about the biggest pitfalls, though, that get to people financially, because it adds up sometimes before we even realize it.
Well, it certainly does. Let me tell you a quick story. So this was a couple years before the pandemic. One of our clients lost their job, and they lived a pretty extravagant lifestyle, but they were forced to cut down to one income for about 6 months. And what they learned, Jason, was shocking, was they could live on quite a bit less. When the spouse got employed again, they were able to save a huge amount of money because had they not gone through that pain, they didn't know what kind of gain they could actually have. And so a lot of people right now, because of COVID, it's like a reset button. They're asking themselves what's really required and what's optional. And I think for now, people who come ahead and really gain from this financially will save quite a bit more money than they were even a couple years ago.
On the flip side of that story that you just discussed there, Derrick, have you ever encountered people who are, when you sit down with them and really start to kind of probe their finances and go through it all, they're blown away by how much they're spending and just didn't realize that it had crept up? And I guess that's why we call it lifestyle creep.
Well, it sure is. In Texas, we call that big hat, no cattle, where people look like they've got a lot of money. And we had several people come in the office, and by all external circumstances, they looked wildly successful. But when you pull back the curtain and look at the numbers, they said, Derrick, we're making X, but we're spending this amount. We're basically no better off. And so you thought peer pressure went away back in junior high and high school. As we are adults and people have more money, the temptation will likely get really ripe over the next few months to want to spend more, to look like we're successful, to keep up with people who probably don't even care.
Peer pressure is alive and well. Last thing, what's the best way? What are the best ways to, try to not spend more when you are making more, because there's that temptation?
Well, there is. The key is make it easy and make the decision for you before you get the money. So you want to set it and forget it. You want to set up an automatic savings account where the money comes in, goes right into an investment account, goes right into a savings account, not your checking, because that's easily accessible by the ATM. We want to make it hard to get to. What that does is it forces you to make a decision and say, is it really worth me taking the time to get this money out to buy this item? But also think about how much you actually had to work to buy that item and what it really costs in terms of your personal time value.
Derrick, you're like our conscience speaking out loud this afternoon. Hopefully some of that sinks back into our ears again. He does the Good Money podcast. His name is Derrick Kinney, and we are always thankful to have him on the show here with us. Thanks, man.
My pleasure, Jason. Great to be with you.